Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG Pocket video, and today I will be showcasing the absolute best Brock deck in my personal opinion. This is one of the best counters to the meta right now. Shout out to Pokenina for sharing this deck list. She does have a video on her channel, you should go check it out. With that said, let's go right over it. We start off with 2 Digletts, 2 Geodudes, 1 Onix, 2 Dugtrios, 2 Gravelers, 2 Golems. That'll round off the Pokemon. Then we have an X-Speed, 2 Pokeballs, 2 Professor Research, a Giovanni, 2 Brock, and a Sabrina. Let's hop right into the battles. We start off this one losing the coin flip, but because of how nice it is to go second in this game, it actually feels like we win the coin flip. We have an Onix to start off, and looks like our first matchup is against Mewtwo. My opponent starts with a Professor's Research, and with it being turn 1, not much else to do, so they eventually pass. We start with a Pokeball, getting Diglett, then play our own Professor's Research, getting our Geodude. After throwing them both on the bench, I throw an energy on Onix and end the turn. We eventually see a second Mewtwo EX, but not much else happens. I can't do much with Onix in front, giving me a slow start as well. I'm still able to evolve Diglett into Dugtrio and throw another energy on Onix before my turn ends. My opponent plays Sabrina, and after throwing on Dugtrio, this is how I wanted my field to look since the start. We do have to eat a Psychic Spear, but overall we're in a great spot. I start out by evolving the Graveler, throw down another Diglett, then counter with a Sabrina of my own. With Dugtrio able to put major damage on their Ralts, I was hoping they would switch into Mewtwo, which they do. I'm able to get off a dig and hit a Heads to stall them out a little. After throwing down an energy and Pokeball, my opponent ends their turn. I use my own Pokeball, grabbing a Geodude, and evolve into Golem. I go for another dig, hitting another Heads, protecting our Dugtrio for yet another turn. My opponent does finally find their Curlia, and unfortunately I get hit with a second Sabrina. After some thinking, I realize Onix is in a perfect position for this though. We get hit with 50, but with this Mewtwo, it's not really looking in a great spot. I get a fresh Dugtrio on my bench, then decide to Brock in my Golem. After that, we go straight into Land Crush, wiping out their Mewtwo EX. The other Mewtwo comes in, and with Giovanni they're able to knock out Onix before we get another hit. That is a really good move on their end. I do throw the Dugtrio in with less HP, which I could have played better here, but it doesn't really make much of a difference. After putting an energy on Golem and playing Professor's Research, I go for the dig and my opponent concedes before I even flip the coin. We do win the coin flip going into the next one, and with a Diglett in the active spot, I feel a lot more confident going into this battle. My opponent is playing Pikachu, so it looks like we do have an advantage as well. I start with a Pokeball, grabbing a Geodude, putting him straight onto our bench, followed by a Professor's Research. We find a Dugtrio, and another Pokeball, which I play right away, finding a Diglett. My opponent throws down a Pikachu EX, seemingly setting up a perfect Pikachu start for their next turn. They'll be able to start putting off some damage. I throw both Dugtrios in play and go right into Sabrina. If they decide to go for anything other than Pikachu, I can knock it out, but I'm trying to bait the Pikachu. And after a while of waiting, it looks like it works. With that, we hit dig and flip a heads, protecting us for next turn. Starting their next turn, they go into Professor's Research, followed by a Pokeball, and then after that, they actually decide to concede, giving us the win over this one. We are going straight into another Pikachu game. I am finding a lot of Pikachu and Mewtwo players today, but a lot of them are conceding before a good battle can even take place. That's okay, we start the next one off with Diglett and Dugtrio in our hand, which I love the looks of this. I play Pokeball into Onix and pass turn 1. They are able to counter with a Tail Whip next turn, putting some damage on Diglett. But I evolve right into Dugtrio and go straight for the dig, hitting the KO. And after flipping heads, my field looks great going into the next turn. That's until I guess Sabrina. Onix is not a great option to put in front, and with 0 energy and a huge retreat cost. Can't say that, retreat cost. My next turn I throw an energy on Onix, but we can't really do anything else. That makes that Sabrina like one of the most effective I've ever played on me. They start off with a Professor's Research. I'm assuming they find a Pikachu, which we still don't see yet. They throw a Thunderbolt and end their turn, thankfully missing the coin flip. I throw energy on Onix. Next turn we can start attacking, thankfully. And decide to Sabrina here, which may be a mistake, but making Pikachu decks waste energy is never a bad thing. We finally see the Pikachu, but it's pretty late in the game. We put in another Diglett, and are able to get the second KO after that. Pikachu comes into the active spot. Then we see the second Pikachu set on the bench. Giving the first one just enough power to KO the Onix. I throw in a fresh Diglett, evolve right into Dugtrio, and play Giovanni, hoping it hits a big 70 this turn and a possible flip of heads. Unfortunately, I flipped tails, leaving me wide open. This next turn is important for my opponent, as I realize, even when they KO our active Dugtrio, the second one can still come in and knock out their Pikachu. They seem to notice that though as well. Hit a double potion to counter that, knocking out my Dugtrio with ease. Now we're 2-2, and my only chance here is really to flip heads with Dig. Once again I miss it, and that's going to be the game for us. We start off with a Geodude, and looks like we're facing up against a fire deck this go around. A little break from the meta, I don't mind. They start with a Professor's Research, then pass. I start with a Pokeball, grabbing an Onix, then play my own Professor's Research. Grabbing a second Brock and a Golem. I get some damage off, then end my first turn. With Magmar needing 2 energies to attack, they can't do much but place an energy this turn. I start by evolving into Graveler, but I won't be able to attack this turn, so I play Sabrina, so they can't attack either. Vulpix get played on the bench with an energy, so I'm expecting a Ninetales coming up here soon. I take no time putting in Golem and taking a super overpowered first prize over Charmander. Magmar comes in, and we do see the Ninetales on the bench that I've been anticipating. They do decide to play Geo, making the next attack a really risky one for Golem. I use the other Brock in my hand to start, giving Onix a good start. And Golem takes out Magmar and himself with this next attack. A battle between Onix and Ninetales is not ideal in this situation, especially with it being their turn to attack. Luckily, we see the Geo instead of a Blaine and survive the battle with 10 HP. I really couldn't have Professor's Research anything better this next turn. Getting the Dugtrio line, I put a Diglett on the bench and smack Ninetales with a counterattack for 70. They are able to put a potion on Ninetales, healing them back up to 40. Then going into Flamethrower to take out Onix, but without another potion, all we have to do here is attack with the Dugtrio in our hand, and that's game. Altogether, I think the Brock Golem deck is a huge threat to the meta as of right now, with 9 out of the 15 battles I did either being against Mewtwo or Pikachu. We ended up with an 11-4 record. We had a record of 3 wins and 2 losses against Pikachu, and 3 wins and 1 loss against Mewtwo. First thing I will say, if you aren't facing up against a Mewtwo or Pikachu deck, you may have a harder game. It seems like this counters the meta decks well, but not everything. There also aren't a lot of coin flips other than Doug Trio, so most of the RNG you'll be dealing with is drawing into the right cards. With that said, there is a new emblem event that dropped today. I would give it a try, imagining a lot of people would be playing their own sort of version of Mewtwo or Pikachu. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want some more Pokemon Pocket content, hit the like and subscribe button. But for now, I'm out.